everybody, and welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. We are here. It's Thursday. The weather, still a little frigid. It's getting a little bit colder, getting a little bit more towards the Christmas weather, I would like to say. It's not snowing. We haven't had snow, so we're in a brown Christmas right now. I'm kind of worried that once we get out of this little spell here, we're going to get dumped on by a load of snow, but that's just personal opinion. So, fantastic Thursday here today. We're getting closer to the weekend. Austin is with me today. Austin, how are we doing on this Thursday?
Yeah, I'm doing good. And like you were saying, brown Christmas, don't think I've ever seen it since I've been alive. Talk about global warming, Trage. That's what we're seeing right now. A lot of global warming. The weather's getting set back, and I feel like you said, we're going to get dumped on with a bunch of snow after Christmas, probably around mid-January area. Just all snow.
Global warming. They tell us about it every day. We can't miss it. We all need to switch to electric cars, and then we'd be fine. Then we'd be A-okay. The world would be okay again. But nope, nobody wants to. It's okay. It's okay. But here we are. We're talking about sports today. We don't got enough time for politics. If we got into politics, man, this would be a rough one. We're going to stick with sports because that is our specialty, or that's what we like to think at least. Today, we got a lot to talk about. We got the Bucks. We got the Brewers. Brewers making some moves. College football early signing period yesterday. We're going to jump into that whole mess, talk about everything that happened yesterday. We're also going to be looking at the Packers a little bit more because it wouldn't be a week of Wisconsin Sports on the Go if we did not talk about the Packers and talk about the struggles, at least, every day. That's what we got to do. So we got some Packer talk going on today. Also talking about a little bit of college basketball news, and then we're going to get into some trivia later along with our fantasy football picks. So with that right away, I want to jump into the Bucks. The Bucks have the Orlando Magic coming up tonight there. That should be a good matchup for the Bucks from the Pfizer. I believe it's from the Pfizer. Yep, from the Pfizer Forum. Magic coming up there at 16-10 so far on this young season. 5-7 on the road so far. The Bucks coming in 20-7 on the season. They're 15-2 at home on this young season. So, Austin, what are we looking at for stats in this one? This is a pretty good, a pretty decently put together Magic team coming into the Pfizer tonight. So, it should be a pretty good matchup for the Bucks. What are we looking at for some keys tonight between the Bucks and Magic?
Yeah, the Magic, they come in at 16-10, first in the Southeast Division, in the Eastern Conference. But it all starts with Paolo Banchero for them. He's, I believe, a second-year player or third-year player out of Duke for them there. And he's averaging 20.6 points per game for them. And then they have Franz Wagner. I don't know how to say. He's German. Wagner. And he's averaging 19.8 points for them. And then Cole Anthony out of North Carolina, also averaging 15. Jalen Suggs out of Gonzaga, 12.4. And then Wagner's brother, Moritz, has 11.6 points per game. After that, it's kind of a drop-off. Markelle Fultz is out for this game, which I think is a big killer for them. He's only averaging 11.4 only through 5 games played there. So that kind of hurts for them. And then off the bench, it looks like they're going to have another Goga. I don't even know how to say some of these guys' names, but he's averaging 7.4 points per game off the bench. And then Gary Harris is averaging 6.8 points. So it seems like it's a lot of their starters. A lot of their stars are making plays for them, and they're young. They're very young. I think Moritz Wagner is the oldest out of all 5 of them, and I mean he's only been in the league. I mean, I remember watching him playing against Loyola Chicago in the Final Four not too long ago. So I know that, he's 26 years old. That's still pretty young. I'm pretty sure he's still the oldest. Yeah, he's the oldest. So young team here for Orlando, but they're playing good. They're playing good for a young team, I'd say. I mean, this is the best we've seen Orlando be in a while since they probably played the Bucks in the wild card or the first round of the NBA playoffs there. So very good Orlando team. Banchero, he's first on the team for points per game, first in rebounds, and first in assists. He averages 6.9 rebounds per game and 4.5 assists per game. So I think he's going to play a major factor in how Orlando does against the Bucks. But like I said, they're young. They got Franz Wagner, they got Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, a lot of good athletes on their team. I think it's going to come down to how's their bench play. We've seen the Bucks. I saw something on Instagram this morning saying that when the Bucks played their December 15th and December 16th game, it was around there. It was the first time, or it's only the third time that the Bucks have scored 140 points in back-to-back games. So I mean, the Bucks are scoring a lot of points right now, and if the Orlando Magic are going to want to win this game, they're going to either have to have a very good defense and keep them to around 120, or shoot the ball lights out. So, or possibly do both. I think that'd be huge for the Orlando Magic, but they're only averaging 113 points per game, where the Bucks average around 130 per game there. So, I don't really know how the Orlando Magic are going to be able to come up with an extra 17 points, but I feel like they're just going to have to if they're going to want to win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be huge for the Bucks, playing some good defense in this one. Like you said, the Magic averaging about 115 a game right now. The Bucks have to keep the Magic below that 115 mark, and that means about 54 points in that first half, keeping them around that 54, under 54 points in that first half. That'll set the Bucks up well in this ball game. If you let the Magic get going, that's where you're going to run into some troubles here in this one. So like you're saying there, you got to play some good defense in this one. Keep the bench for the Magic kind of out of the game. Looking at it right now, the injury report, Giannis is day-to-day with a foot. So hopefully Giannis is good to go. We're not going to get a half Giannis. Usually you don't. Usually Giannis plays through most injuries, so I'm not really worried we're going to get a half-staff Giannis. We're going to get full-blown. We'll be ready to rock in this one. Jay Crowder's still out with that groin injury. But looking on the flip side of it with the Magic, Markelle Fultz, I forget about Markelle Fultz. He's still in the league. I forgot about him. He is day-to-day right now with a knee. Kevin Harris is out, coach's decision. I don't know what's going on with Kevin Harris, but that's interesting to see, coach's decision. And Joe Ingles is day-to-day right now with an ankle injury for Orlando. This Magic team is a pretty good shooting team. Like you were talking there with Paolo Banchero. He's, definitely their best player overall. But Franz Wagner adds a good complement to what Banchero does there as a big man in the post there for this Magic team. Magic coming in this one, coming off of 2 losses at the Garden, where the Boston held them to below that 115 mark. I think that's what is going to be a big thing for the Bucks in this one, is keeping them below that 115 mark. And also the rebounding battle, I think, is going to be big in this one. Looking at the last 10 games for the Bucks, averaging 44.8 rebounds per game, and this Magic team's averaging about 43 rebounds per game. So I think it's going to be a big key for the Bucks to control that rebound battle in this one. Limit the offensive rebounds for the Magic and keep them on their toes there. Also stopping transition plays by this Magic team is going to be a big one. They're averaging about 6.6 steals per game right now, the Magic are, led by Jalen Suggs. So I think that's a big thing for the Magic here in this one.
And also, I think they have the best name in NBA basketball, one of the best names in NBA basketball, Admiral Schofield. Admiral. I might have to name my kid that if I ever have a kid. Admiral. It's an intimidating factor right there. It's got to be.
Admiral Schofield was a pretty good player he played for Tennessee, the University of Tennessee. He was a pretty good player for Tennessee too. I did not know that he actually was with the Magic. That is actually news to me. I knew that he got drafted. I did not know it was by the Magic. So interesting news there that Admiral Schofield is currently residing in Orlando. Good for him. Good for him that he got drafted. He played a pretty good college career, but I did not expect a lot out of him coming out of college. He was a decent player, but not a standout. But, good to see that he stuck on with somebody and he's playing with the Magic. I don't know what kind of minutes he's getting right now with the Magic. But.
Only 3.5. He's only played 8 games, but I just thought his name was cool.
It definitely is cool. I'll give you that one.
But yeah, when you look at the rest of the team, I don't expect a bench for the Magic to really be doing anything except for maybe Goga, Badizzi, and Gary Harris. Maybe Jonathan Isaac might get in there. Anthony Black. Joe, you said Joe Ingles is hurt, so expect a lot of their starters to be making the plays for them. I feel like I don't think they really have a
Anthony
Bobby
Black,
Portis on their team.
Anthony Black's another good player out of Arkansas. Another good rookie player there, Anthony Black. So they got a lot of. They're young. They're definitely young. Interesting to see. I really did forget about Markelle Fultz. He's only played in 5 games so far this year, and he's averaging about 11 points. So no, Markelle Fultz is adding some trouble for this Magic team. He's averaging. I mean, when he's in there, he's a pretty good player for him. So not having him out there has been a killer for the Magic here. Looking at their points per game wise.
Yeah, and he also averaged 1.2 steals per game too, so he added a little bit of defense for them also. So it's not just the offensive factor for him, but also the defensive factor as well.
This definitely is an interesting like team right here that we're looking at. They got some pieces to build with, and I think they're doing something well. I think they're doing something well in Orlando right now. They're building from the ground up. Paolo Banchero is now the face of that franchise, and then you look around, he's got a supporting cast of characters there. Both the Wagners, Jalen Suggs, pretty good shooting guard there, and Cole Anthony's a pretty good guard. And then Markelle Fultz, if he's ever out there, is a pretty good guard to back him up with, along with Joe Ingles and having guys like, just looking around there, Anthony Black's a pretty good player for him there.
Wendell Carter Jr. is also active.
Yeah,
it says he only played 6 games, but when I look, he says he's active. So possibly he could be a big factor in this game too.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of bench action all the way around. Wendell Carter getting in there. So, this Magic team is definitely a young but promising team. They're going to be a team to watch out for in the near future. They're putting it together earlier than everybody thought in this season. But big game for the Bucks coming up tonight here. Hopefully stick to their winning ways. Won 5 in a row. Hopefully make it 6 in a row here coming up tonight. 7 o'clock tip there from the Pfizer. Should be a pretty good matchup there for the Bucks. But with that, I want to jump over and talk about the Brewers here. And the Brewers made a move yesterday. They made a deal with the Mets, sending Tyrone Taylor and Adrian Hauser to the Mets for minor league pitcher Coleman Crowe. Now, when I saw this move, I was like, well, hopefully Coleman Crowe is a pretty good prospect, and the Brewers are getting something pretty good in return to build towards the future. He is a pretty good pitcher, I guess you could say, but coming off of, he just had Tommy John surgery, so he's only going to pitch about a half a season next year, Coleman Crowe. And then in the time that he's actually played, he's only 23, went 2-0 with a 1.88 ERA and 4 appearances last season with Rocket City. And that's Los Angeles Angels AA affiliate. He was 9-3 with a 4.85 ERA and 24 appearances in 2022. So he's got some decent stuff, but he's not overly, he was 29th on the Mets 30 prospects. He was 29 in the Mets organization, 29th. Tyrone Taylor, I could see Tyrone Taylor going. Adrian Hauser added depth to the starting rotation for the Brewers now, and he wasn't that expensive. So the only thing I saw with that was it was a salary dump. They were trying to get rid of 2 guys who are on the books that were making a decent amount of money, not crazy, but decent amount of money, and they found the first deal that popped up and said, here you go. Of course, it was to the Mets. Of course, it was to David Stearns out there with the Mets. We knew David Stearns at some point would come knocking at the door for Brewers players to come out there. He came knocking now. It wouldn't surprise me if he comes knocking for Christian Yelich at some point, too, because the Mets need a left-handed bat. It wouldn't surprise me if David Stearns wants to get him back in New York. But definitely an interesting move by the Brewers. Not expected. I expected outfielders to be moved. I did not expect this to be the kind of deal that they'd be moved for. Also, in other news yesterday, the Brewers did sign a 1-year contract with Eric Hayes. He recently was with the Detroit and Cleveland last season. He hit 201 with 4 home runs and 26 RBIs in 89 games. So he also has a career 225 hitter with 41 home runs and 137 RBIs in 323 games. So all in all, yesterday the Brewers did absolutely nothing besides do a salary dump. They traded away Tyrone Taylor, who hit about 260 for him last season. They traded Adrian Hauser, who had about a 4 ERA, which, if you think about it, being on the back end of a rotation, not a bad ERA. And in return, they got a pitcher who, coming off Tommy John surgery, you never know what's going to happen. And you also got a catcher who is hitting a career 225 right now and kind of sucks on the offensive side. What are they doing? I don't understand what we're doing right now. Why are we making moves like this? Why are these the moves that we're making? Why are Corbin? If this is what we're doing right now, where we're dumping salary, we better be. If you just dumped Tyrone Taylor and Adrian Hauser for basically nothing, you better be looking at some free agent guy who is going to come into this team and make an impact right off the bat. Otherwise, I don't understand why you just traded Tyrone Taylor and Adrian Hauser, and you haven't been trying to trade Corbin Burns and Willy Adames. I don't understand it. I don't.
Yeah.
If you're going to make moves like this, you better be signing somebody fantastic. Otherwise, there's no point in keeping Corbin Burns. He's pissed at you. He hates the organization because you guys outed him money last year and you blamed him for losses, and now you want to bring him back. That's going to add to clubhouse morale. The clubhouse morale is going to be lost because Corbin Burns is going to be that guy in that clubhouse. I don't know what the Brewers are doing. I don't know what direction we're heading right now.
And I saw a lot of fans on Instagram in the comment section, and they're not happy. They're like, oh, here we go with a rebuild again. We're going to be rebuilding for like 50 years, blah, blah, blah. And when you look at the numbers, I mean, the Brewers are only cutting around $7.3 million from their payroll. So not overly a lot to sign a big guy that you might want. I mean, 7.3 mil when you're looking at, I mean, obviously Shohei Ohtani's contract is out of the water, but to sign an all-star caliber player, like I don't know what William Contreras' contract is, but I know it's a lot more than $7.3 million. And
his is actually small yet because the Braves took advantage of his rookie. When he was a rookie, the Braves signed him for a while. So the Brewers just basically benefited off of that and took on that contract for him. He's going to get arbitration in there where he'll make more than what he is now. But I believe last year it was pretty small yet. But the way he hit last year, arbitration is going to be a son of a gun to the Brewers. But yeah, I mean, it's baffling because like you're saying there, it's like we're going into a rebuild. But if you're going into a rebuild, why are you keeping Corbin Burns? Why are you keeping him on the books? Why don't you get rid of him for something? The biggest problem now that you're going to have is now Corbin Burns came out and talked, and he said that he's not going to re-sign an extension with any team. He's going to test the free agent waters. So any team that gets him now basically is getting a guy who is going to walk away after this year. You're not going to be able to sign him back right away. He's going to wait and see what the free agent market holds for him. Because simply, I mean, look at the contract Tyler Glasnow just got. I'm pretty sure it's like 176 mil or something like that over 5 years with the Dodgers. He's injury prone. So Corbin Burns saw that now and he goes, oh, well, I can get a lot more than that because I've been injured less than Tyler Glasnow has, and I have just as good of numbers. The Brewers put themselves in a bad situation here. It's along with like Willy Adames. How long are we going to wait with Willy Adames? Are we going to bring him back? If we bring him back and he struggles again, what do you do then? I mean, he's in his last year of his contract. So it's one of those things where it's almost better to package these guys up now, ship them out the door, and try to get something for them, especially if we're in a rebuild, especially if that's the way that we're going right now. But like you said, I mean, Brewers enter a rebuild. It's a 10-year rebuild. I mean, we can't just all of a sudden just flip the script and be back on. But it's almost like with the amount of rookies we have on this team and good rookies on this team coming back, like Sal Frelick and Garrett Mitchell, Jackson Churro now, Bryce Terang, Andrew Monasterio. we have the pieces to be semi-good. Christian Yelich, if he gets back to semi what he was in the past, I mean, we have the pieces to be good. It's just a matter of will ownership put the money towards it to make this team good? And will they make the moves to make this team good? Because as of right now, if you're going to keep Corbin Burnes on the books and you're just going to ride it out, you better sign some really high-end free agents, because otherwise you're going to waste your last year with Corbin Burnes. We don't have Brandon Woodruff anymore. Freddie's around, but Freddie is no Brandon Woodruff, so you're going to lose the three-headed monster that we once had, and you're not going to – you didn't put up a fight. You didn't even put up a fight with it. You basically just signed lackluster guys the entire time and prayed that they'd turn into something. Looking at Jesse Winker. I mean, we got Jesse Winker, turned into nothing. We got Luke Voigt, turned into nothing. So we constantly go through these times where we get absolutely nothing to help guys. Versus we went all in 1 year, 2018. We went all in. We got Christian Yelich. We got Lorenzo Cain. We got Mike Moustakas. We had Travis Shaw on that team. We went out at the trade deadline. We got Eduardo Escobar to add in there. Curtis Granderson. We had Ryan Braun yet. We had Jesus Aguilar on that team. We were loaded up. We had Josh Hader, Corey Knebel, and Jeremy Jeffress in the bullpen. I mean, that team was loaded. After that, we failed. We didn't try again. We just rebooted. We kicked everybody out. We sent them all out, and we said, okay, we'll try to win with less. And we couldn't do it. And now we're just have the scraps left. We have Christian Yelich left. After that, nobody's really left off that team except for Corbin Burnes. Devin Williams wasn't quite there yet. And you have guys like Corbin Burnes, Freddie Peralta. That was about it. And Christian Yelich. Guys who were there when they put on that run. So, I mean, everybody's gone. Everybody's gone from that team. And look how short of time it's been since then. You look at opposing teams out there, they constantly are keeping guys around. And, you go 1 year, you get too close to the World Series. Why reboot it? Why reboot it and send everybody away? I just don't get it. That's the Brewers in a nutshell. It's been bad. I don't know what direction we're heading right now. I wish I did. I wish I could understand the moves that the Brewers make, but I don't. I don't understand the direction of the Milwaukee Brewers right now.
And like you said, you wonder how some teams are able to keep their guys. I mean, look at the Houston Astros. They had Carlos Correa, George Springer, Jose Altuve, and even other guys that you can count that stayed on their team for like more than at least 3 years, and they went to the World Series for how many years in a row? I mean, when you're able to keep the guys that are good, you're going to keep winning. I don't think the Brewers understand that. I feel like they should. You think that any organization would be able to realize that if you keep the good players, you're going to be good. Seems like the Brewers they'll do good, but they fail, and then they're like, well, these guys suck, so kick them out. We'll try and redo something else here. It's not how it works. You got to give people more than one year a chance. I mean, they did keep Lorenzo Cain after that, but Lorenzo Cain kind of fell off. And Ryan Braun it was the end of his career. But when we got rid of Jesus Aguilar, I think that shocked a lot. I think that shocked a lot of people. And then just other people as well getting rid of. I think they should have kept Mike Moustakas, and maybe that comes with the money deal again. Like, I don't think we have enough money to keep these players around, so we try and sign people for half a year. And we'll give them $1 million or whatever they want. That's not as big as a full contract would. So we're able to do good for at least a little bit. But, yeah, like you said, other teams are able to keep these guys around, and it pays off. You see, I mean, even the Dodgers. The Dodgers, I don't think, keep many players around, but they're able to spend enough money to keep bringing good enough players in. And then it pays off because they're in the playoffs every year. They're making it to at least the divisional round every year, if not the World Series. It definitely pays off having money and having team culture to keeping players around. I don't think the Brewers have neither right now.
No, and the big thing is like you've said it before, the Brewers get rookies up, they do well, and they bounce. They get out. Why? Because the Brewers don't sign guys early. That's their biggest problem. The thing that they did right with Jackson Churro, they locked him up to a long-term deal early on so they don't lose him when he gets up to the majors, does fantastic. Now he's gone. Look at like Ronald Acuna Jr. for the Atlanta Braves. He could make more money than what Mookie Betts is making. He is all around, I would take Ronald Acuna over Mookie Betts. He makes less than what Bryce Harper makes. But you look at that, And you say, why? Well, he signed a contract when he was young with the Atlanta Braves, and that's what's kept him up in Atlanta for so long on a small contract, is because of that. Look at Austin Riley. The Braves play it smart. They sign guys early. They keep their guys around, and that's what you got to do if you want to be competitive and not spend a boatload of money doing it. That's the big thing that I think the Brewers miss, and that's what I think they're missing right now is they aren't signing guys like Sal or Garrett, Mitchell, or any of those guys for longer-term deals, and I think that's what they really do miss out on lots of times with these rookies. Also, the Brewers they don't develop players very well, if you really think about it. How many rookies have we seen come up to the Brewers besides pitchers? We have a lot of good pitchers, but when's the last third baseman that the Brewers had come up to the major league level from their minor leagues and did well? It's been a while. It's been a very long time. Look at the first base side of it. When was the last first baseman? Prince Fielder would have been the last really good first baseman that the Brewers had come up through the minor league system and do good for them at the major league level. Now, second base, that's still up in the air because of we don't know what Bryce Terang is going to end up as. I mean, he had a struggling offensive year last year, but his defense was phenomenal. But Orlando Arcia, one of the top prospects for the Brewers in the minors, got up to the majors. He was a good defender, but couldn't hit. He wasn't a great hitter. Look at Keston Hiura, fell apart when he got to the major league level. So, I mean, outfield pitchers, that's about all we bring up to the minors and do fantastic. So it's like you look at player development too. It goes back to drafting. How well are the Brewers drafting here? And then how well are they developing players along the way? When I look at the positions, we aren't drafting that well. We aren't developing players that well because at the end of the day, we haven't had a good first baseman, third baseman come through the minor league system in a while. And that's where I think the Brewers have failed. Also looking at hitting shortstops. We haven't had a good hitting shortstop come through the minor league system in a while. Right now, if you look down at the minor league system, there are good prospects in the shortstop department, third base, can develop into first baseman. They have a lot of outfielders in the minor leagues. They have a lot of catchers. So, I mean, now it looks like they have a lot of prospects down there, but you look at the past and over the years and how bad this minor league system has been for the Brewers. They're ranked highly, but when they get to the majors, they fall apart. So it's like the development of players isn't going well right now for the Brewers. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I mean, are you thinking along the same lines?
Yeah. I just say Monasterio could turn into something good. I think him coming up.
Oh yeah, Monasterio. I forgot about him too.
He might be the only guy that we might have had in a while that's coming up that came up our minor leagues and has been good. I think he's a decent enough third baseman. But I don't know. Well,
and it's not even his real position.
And it's not
actually second baseman. Yeah.
So I mean,
second baseman, shortstop.
Yeah. So for playing a position or playing out of position, kind of. I mean, I think third baseman's different than obviously second or shortstop. I say he did pretty well, but maybe give him another year and let him get better at that. But I think he did pretty good for coming up and having to fill in for us not having a third baseman or a very good third baseman or anything. Because we had Luis Arias. I think they tried putting him at third base for a little bit there, and he kind of fell apart at the end there. And now he's not even with the Brewers anymore, is he? Then we traded him away. So another young guy that was good, showed a little bit of talent, but ended up not being too good when he got to the majors and traded him away.
Yeah, you wonder really at the end of the day what this major league, especially the hitting coaches, what they're doing in there, because it seems like a lot of these guys falter when they get to the big league level. They do fine in the minors, but then they roll their way up to the major league level. It's like their mechanics get all off. Everything gets weird to them. It's like not work. So it definitely is interesting with the Brewers right now. Player development is a problem to me. So with that, I just want to talk about Pittsville Farm and Home. At the store in Pittsville, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew down there at Pittsville Farm and Home this holiday season. Grab yourself some tools. They got snacks. They got new beef sticks down there. They got everything you could possibly need at Pittsville Farm and Home. So check them out at their location in Pittsville or on Facebook at Pittsville Farm and Home. It is definitely worth the trip down to Pittsville. But with that, I want to jump over. We got to get into NCAA football. The National Recruiting Day, the early signing day, was yesterday. And I just wanted to jump in to look at the top 300 here. I know. Do you have the stats up for? Let's see. Do you have the stats up for who got the most recruits in each? Who had the most? Who had the best recruits yesterday? Do you have the stats up for that? Who had the top
Yeah.
recruiting class?
Yeah, looking
So
at
let's just go over that here a little bit, and we'll talk about that a little bit here.
Yeah, looking at 24/7 Sports, they're pretty reliable on where the recruits are going. But looking at the top 4 or even top 5, I don't think you can be surprised. I mean, Georgia's number 1. They have a total of 28 commits, 4 5-stars, 24 stars, and 4 3-stars. And then Alabama's next with 25 commits. They have 3 5-stars, 17 4-stars, 5 3-stars. Number 3, Miami, 27 total commits. They only have 2 5-stars, but 11 4-stars and 14 3-stars. Ohio State, number 4, with 21 commits there. 5 5-stars, 12 4-stars, and only 3 3-stars. And then to round it off for the top 5, it's Texas with 22 total commits with 4 5-stars, 15 4-stars, and 3 3-stars. Oregon is number 6. I'll just mention them because they have 25 commits, no 5-stars whatsoever, but 24 stars and 5 3-stars. When you compare that to the Badgers are number 22 right now, and they have a total of 22 commits, no 5-stars, 9 4-stars, and 13 3-stars. So we haven't had a 5-star since Graham Mertz, I believe. But we only have 9 4-stars right now. That is better than last year, though. Last year, I was taking a look around what the Badgers were doing a couple of years ago, and they don't even show up in the top 50 last year of recruiting, according to 24/7 Sports. And then the year before that, they were ranked 44th, I believe. So definitely getting better in the ranks for the Badgers, but it's hard to compete. It's hard to compete with some of these teams that are able to get these top players with how much prestige they have, with Georgia, Alabama, Miami, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Auburn, Oklahoma, Florida State, Notre Dame, LSU, Clemson. I mean, the list goes on and on. Penn State, Michigan, Tennessee, even Nebraska's up there. And I think Nebraska, they do have 1 5-star, and that is the number 1 quarterback in the nation. I forget his name. He was committed to Georgia. He's from Georgia, but decommitted and now is going to Nebraska because I'm pretty sure his father played there or his grandpa played there. I'm not entirely sure, but the Badgers are up in the rankings, and that is to help with the Ernest Willer. I don't know how to say his last name, but he is one of the top players in the class of 2024. He's a 4-star DN from Towson, Maryland there. And I know that was one of the biggest signings they had. They have 4 guys in the ESPN 300. So that's kind of big for the Badgers there. One of them being a cornerback out of Philadelphia, PA, out of St. Joseph's Prep. I know they're usually a pretty good high school. So they have a lot of talent for their recruiting class.
Austin jumped way too far ahead here. We're going at the grand scheme of things, then jumping into the Badgers. This guy.
Hey, I'm just giving them a preview. I'm giving them what they want to hear.
I have the preview here. So I was trying to find this. So I'm trying to find that quarterback on the ESPN
I think it's like
top 300.
Dylan Raiola or something like that, I believe his name is.
Are we sure that he is in? I wonder. I don't see him on the top 300, so that's where I was kind of confused. I heard the story. I heard what you were talking about. The dude, he can't commit to a girlfriend because he went to like 4 different high schools, and I'm pretty sure now he committed to about 2 or 3 different colleges at one point. So
when I click on Nebraska's commits, he's number 1 there at the top. He signed his letter of intent, so he signed, and he's a 98 rating. Apparently, 5-star.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I am
out of Beaufort, Georgia.
That's why. I got him now.
Were you spelling his name wrong, Trage?
No, I was in the wrong. I believe I was in the wrong season. I believe I was in 2023. Where is he though? Raiola. That's his name, isn't it?
Yeah, Dylan Raiola.
Oh, right there. Got him. He's number 8 prospect in all of college football. That's why. He's down at the bottom there. So, yeah, like you were talking there, Georgia did get the number 1 cornerback in all of college football. Ellis Robinson, he's going to Georgia there in that one spot. Jalen Maboyke, he's going to Alabama. Alabama got the 2 and 3, so that's impressive work out of Alabama there. Interesting, that Raiola guy, he would concern me coming to my university just because seeing him flip 4 high schools in total. I mean, in high school, you want to play against good competition, but if you have the skill, they're going to find you. Just plain and simple. If you have the skills to be a college football quarterback, they're going to find you in one way, shape, or form. It's, and then all of a sudden he commits to Georgia. Now he flips to Nebraska. I don't know. That's just kind of interesting to me that how he's really, if I was his girlfriend, I would dump him right now. Like you were talking there, it looks like there's only a couple guys who haven't signed onto teams yet. It looks like the number 71 prospect right now, Caleb Odom, and then wide receiver Gatlin Bair out of Idaho. If you want to see, I saw it yesterday. I saw some game film on him. You want to see the fastest wide receiver in this entire recruiting class? He's from the state of Idaho. Gatlin Bair is faster than I'll get out. I believe he ran a 10.12 100-meter dash or something like that. The dude is just fast. He's all around just speedy. So that's the guy to watch out for. Whoever gets him is definitely going to be in a good place. And then Zay Mincy is also uncommitted yet from anywhere. It's kind of interesting. I was really thinking about it yesterday, and I've always thought, the transfer portal kind of ruins the early signing day. And then I was really thinking about it, and I was listening yesterday, and I was looking some things up, and I was like, at the end of the day, I really do think that the early signing day has been affected by the transfer portal, but in a good way. Because now universities only have so many scholarships. They only have so many scholarships they can give out. So if you don't want to sign your letter of intent, if you don't want to sign on with the team on the early signing day, that team, say Georgia, could just say, okay, there's about 500 recruits sitting out in the transfer portal right now. I can go find somebody. I can find somebody else. I can replace you like it's nothing. And so either you sign this letter today or we're going to find somebody to replace you. That's what I think has really affected the early signing day to now. I mean, how many years? There's been lots of years where we look through the ESPN 300 and there's guys not signed. There's probably about 100 guys not signed. And you look at this season here, and now there's only 3 guys in the top 100 that haven't signed a letter of intent to go somewhere. And that's really interesting to me, that what the transfer portal has done in that essence is this, making guys make decisions faster. And I think that's good for the state of college football. I don't like the transfer portal. I still can't like it, but I think it does help in that aspect that we are able to see guys sign their letters of intent faster. Like you were saying there, Georgia comes out on top. I mean, just a fantastic recruiting class. And Ohio State. Ohio State got the number 2 wide receiver in this recruiting class, so that was good to see if you're an Ohio State fan. Other than that, I mean, everything else checks out as it normally would. Alabama's in there. Texas is up near the top again. Clemson getting their name back. They got some top recruits coming to Clemson now. A couple of wide receivers and a inside linebacker, it looks like. Penn State, not really in there. Not a lot of guys going to Penn State in that top 100. So that was definitely interesting to see. Penn State usually likes to nitpick in there and find some guys, but Penn State not really towards the top there. LSU didn't get a lot of recruits in the top 100, so that was definitely interesting to see. And USC, a lot of guys, nobody's really going to USC. I thought that was interesting to see that USC wasn't picking off a lot of good players in this next upcoming recruiting class. That was definitely an interesting thing, that Lincoln Riley isn't finding a lot of money out there, because you would think the way that USC was trending, they'd have a lot of money to spend. And They didn't seem to be picking up a lot of guys here. They got a wide receiver and a defensive end there in the top 100, but that was about it as of right now. So definitely an interesting signing day. Nebraska did pick up some decent recruits there. They got an offensive tackle with that 103 and a tight end at that 127 spot. So Nebraska's picking up guys left and right. Wisconsin's got some decent talent coming in. We're going to get into them. So, but I just want to hear your opinion on the transfer portal affecting the signing day classes here.
Yeah, I think that can mix and match with a lot of people. I mean, if you see a guy, I mean, you not commit, or you commit to a team, not sign your letter, and then all of a sudden after the transfer portal and all that, you see someone in your own position committing to the team that you were going to commit to. I mean, especially in a really good guy. Say, look at Oregon. Oregon got Dylan Gabriel and another guy that's out of UCLA. If you're a quarterback and you committed to Oregon, you didn't sign your letter yet, but you see two guys that have already proven themselves, and one that's going to be a senior. I'm pretty sure Dylan Gabriel is going to be a senior or something like that. He's older. And then the guy from UCLA is a little bit younger than him. You see those two guys go to Oregon, it's like, I don't want to go to Oregon anymore. I'm not going to play. So I think it plays into that too, looking at if you're going to want to commit to a team or not. And you might lose a lot of recruits from that. Not probably a whole lot, but it could play into a factor. But it does spice things up a little bit. And overall, I think it is. I mean, that's what today is now. That is, I feel like coaches are going to be more focused on the transfer portal than recruits coming in to play for your team. Obviously, if they're a 5-star, maybe they're probably going to be more concerned about getting a 5-star than maybe some guy from the FCS transfer portal. But overall, I mean, transfers are huge because they've proven themselves most of the time. Sometimes they haven't. There's a few guys that have like barely played and they try transferring out, but at least the big name guys transferring, those play a factor, and it does play a role in scholarships given out and how many they're able to give out to these recruits.
Yeah, it definitely is going to. It's whoever you ask. It's whoever you ask their opinion on it. It's going to change, vice versa there. But with that, we got to move on. I want to talk about Home Team Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. If you're looking to sell your home, trust them at Home Team Century 21 Gold Key Realty. They will find you a home or help you sell your home to the right buyer there. Find them on Facebook at Home Team Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in to see them in Marshfield at their location. But with that, let's jump in. We want to talk about the Badgers recruiting class a little bit. Just looking down the line here, you talked about him already. Ernest Willard Jr., defensive lineman. He's coming in a 4-star recruit coming to Madison. Definitely an impressive prospect there for the Badgers. Dylan Jones, running back from Maryland. He's coming in there also. Dylan Johnson, another defensive lineman, committed or signed to the Badgers, to another 4-star coming out of Illinois. Kevin Haywood, an offensive tackle, coming to the Badgers there as a 4-star. 4-star recruit, Grant Steck. He's a tight end coming to Wisconsin. Looking at an edge rusher there in Lafafel. He's coming in as a 4-star. Thomas Helberger, linebacker, 4-star, coming to the Badgers there. Xavier Lucas, a 3-star. And then a guy that you were talking about, and I know you know a little bit more about him there. He's kind of lower ranked on this list, but you've been telling me good things about him. What the heck? I just lost his name there. Darian Dupree from Mount Carmel, Chicago, Illinois. Running back coming in as a 3-star. You were telling me about him a little bit. He's an interesting prospect, interesting recruit to watch out for the Badgers there. What do you got on him to talk about him a little bit?
All I know, so one of my buddies that I play with at UW La Crosse, he went to the same high school as Dupree, and he led Mount Carmel to a championship in Illinois in the top division, and he's a really good ball player. I watched some of his highlights. He was recruited by Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, Boston College. I mean, we beat teams out like Michigan, Nebraska, a lot of Midwestern teams, but I think he's underrated compared to compared to some of the guys that we're getting, obviously, like Dylan Jones. And I feel like the Badgers are good at how do you call it? Not producing, but producing really good backs, but also like getting them ready to play football. And I think Dupree is going to be good. I think he's going to be pretty good. At least that's what my buddy's been telling me. My buddy said that he's a dog and that he's good. And after watching a little, he's a dog. And after watching him a little bit, he's made some really good plays in one of the top divisions in Illinois. Illinois has some really good football teams. And Mount Carmel is one of them. They have multiple Power 5 players always going out of there. So definitely a good player to watch. And it'll be interesting to see how he develops. That's the word I was trying to think of. They're good at developing running backs at Wisconsin. It'll be interesting to see how he develops. Now, I did see that Chez Mellusi is coming back to the Badgers, so that could set back a couple of these players. But overall, I mean, players like Braylon Allen, he was able to play as a freshman. So I assume, and Jonathan Taylor, I don't think a lot of people thought that Jonathan Taylor was going to be able to play as a freshman. And then all of a sudden he springs out and starts to play really good. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these players play out in their freshman year.
I think it's a good thing. Chez Mellusi's coming back. I think that adds a veteran leadership and kind of gives those rookies that kind of sense of direction coming into college there, help them out, get them off on the right foot. I think it's good to have that veteran leadership in there. So it's good news. Chez Mellusi is coming back. We also received news yesterday. Chimere Dike is heading to Florida. He will be teaming up with Graham Mertz down there in the swamp. That is an interesting combo. Dike did have his best season with Graham Mertz there in Madison, his junior season. So getting to play with Graham Mertz again, maybe that boosts Chimere Dike down there in Florida. So definitely an interesting development there. But with that, before we move on, I want to talk about game day supply in Onalaska. With Christmas just around the corner, you may have some things you still need to cross off that holiday list. And the crew, our friends down there at Game Day Supply, will help you find everything you could need for your sports enthusiast or your athlete. If you have an athlete in the family and you want to find them some supplies there. They offer skate sharpening and hockey accessories, custom fielding gloves for baseball and softball. They also carry a wide variety of baseball and softball bats, from DeMarini to Louisville Slugger and Marucci. They have it all at Game Day Supply in Onalaska. Check them out online at GameDaySupply.net or at the location in Onalaska or on Facebook at Game Day Supply. But with that, we're going to jump into the Packers. We got a little bit of news just to cover here with the Packers. Campbell looked like Devondre Campbell sat out of practice yesterday. The Packers gave him the day off. Interesting. After Campbell comes out and tells us all about how he's not going to risk his body anymore, now the Packers give him a day off. Oh, man. The Packers are like a soap opera right now. It's definitely it's not good. It's not good what's going on in Green Bay. I believe Matt LaFleur and this coaching staff have lost the locker room as of this point. I think some of the veteran leaders are starting to see the crap that's going on, and they're not going to play. They're not going to practice for it. They're not going to play for it. They don't want to be a part of it anymore. And Matt LaFleur, if he wants to save it, can get rid of some guys, or he can get rid of one guy. He can get rid of one guy who's in charge of the defense, and everything will be okay. But yet we still, I don't understand it. I don't understand why we're playing this game, but Devondre Campbell did sit out yesterday of practice.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not shocking considering what he said. It seems like the Packers love doing this to their players. Once they say something, the next day, they either get what they want or they get the can. So Devondre Campbell, a good player. We need Devondre Campbell. We have a little bit of experience. I mean, we have Quay Walker at linebacker, and then I forgot his name, but he's stepped up and done a good enough job for us at linebacker as Devondre Campbell's been out. But Devondre Campbell's huge for our team, especially with how lackluster our defense has been these past few games. We need as many people as we can get. And right now, as Devondre Campbell is not on our side right now, he seems like he's kind of frustrated with everything going on. That's not good. And like you said, we can either defend Joe Barry and cut a bunch of our players that don't like him, or we can keep all the good players and cut Joe Barry. Right now, it's up to Matt LaFleur what he wants to do, how he wants to take control of this team. Right now, it doesn't seem like he has too much of a control over his team, and it starts with Joe Barry, like you said.
It seems like such an easy solution.
Yeah, I mean,
like such an easy thing.
You think it'd be easy, right? Until feelings get put into play. And hey, you know what they say? The NFL is a business. Well, when it comes to players, it's a business. But it seems like when your best friend's one of the coaches, it's tough to cut them. Well, then I guess you just don't want to win football games. And when you look at it, football's a business. You can't. It doesn't seem like they put too much of emotions when they come to cutting players and all that. But when it comes to a coach, come on, I'm trying to win football games here.
Yeah, how long did Rasul Douglas sit with Matt LaFleur, and how good Rasul? I can imagine that Rasul Douglas, he's a pretty nice guy, so I can imagine him and Matt LaFleur probably didn't see eye to eye towards the end of it, why he was traded away. But like you just said, not much feeling and emotion put into guys who, when he got cut, Keyshawn Nixon was upset. We didn't care. We were okay with it. We knew it was going to affect the locker room. We didn't care. We just got rid of him. So, I mean, like you said there, why does it change with a coach? Just because it's your buddy, do you not? At the end of the day, if you want to stick with your buddy, you should see him on the street corner because you guys can go out together. You guys can all go out together. We'll see you on the flip side. Simple. I mean, it's just a simple thing. And right now, speaking of guys that we don't know what to do with, that is Christian Watson. Now, I got to say, when Christian Watson's healthy, and he's out on the football field, and he can make plays. He can make plays happen. He's had some big games for the Packers in 2 seasons here. But Christian Watson's hurt again. Again. Same injury, hamstring injury. We can't keep Christian Watson on the field. Last season played in 14 games, had 41 receptions, 66 targets, 611 yards. This season, he's got 9 games played. He's still questionable this week, so I'm assuming he won't play come Sunday. He will be out again. So you're going to have 2 more games. So he's going to play 11 games this season here. You can't trust Christian Watson's going to be out there. And, he got hurt on a little wide receiver sweep play it was a couple weeks ago there. I think it was against the Chiefs that he got hurt. I think it was the Chiefs. I'm pretty sure it was Chiefs or Lions. One of the games that they won there, he got injured. He did not play against the Giants. So it must have been the Chiefs game. But if you can't keep a guy healthy, it's the same injury problem all the time. There is no place. I mean, there is no place for it. If we're going to, you can work with him at practice all week long. Come Sunday, he gets hurt on the opening drive because he pulls his hamstring again. What are you going to do? I mean, at the end of the day, either Christian Watson's got to bulk up and he's got to strengthen up them hamstrings, or he's got to go. He's got to walk out the door, because you cannot keep dealing with the injury after injury after injury that we're dealing with Christian Watson. It gets as old as what David Bakhtiari is right now. I mean, everybody wants to get rid of David Bakhtiari. He's constantly hurt. It's the same thing with Christian Watson. Constantly hurt, not helping the football team when he's hurt. And I think that's a big problem for Green Bay right now. You're not paying him a lot, but I think going into next season here, you're going to have him for this next season. I think that's where the Packers really got to make their decision here. If Christian Watson can get healthy and he can stay healthy, I think that changes minds. But as of right now, I think the Packers really do need to think about moving on from this situation with Christian Watson.
And it's not like we were overusing him either. I mean, I won't say we have a lot of wide receiver depth, but we have a lot of players that have come up, like Dontavion Wicks and Malik Heath. Like, we've had these other players that have come up, so it's not like we have overused him for him to all of a sudden feel banged up or something. Hamstring injuries are tough. I know a couple of guys on my team, they've had hamstring injuries, and they'll come back. They think they're fine, and then next thing you know, they pull it again, same thing, and it's reoccurring. It's just a thing that you got to have rest, but when you're resting in the NFL, I mean, you're taking up money, you're taking up that investment that you had, and with him only being in the league for 2 years, I think it's tough that he's having these injuries because of how promising he's looked. Hopefully he gets better, and maybe we'll see him at the end of the year. But I mean, at that point, if you take a look at it, we don't have him. He's injured. He's limited in practice or whatever. He's questionable. We lose a couple more games. We're out completely for the rest of the year. Coming to the last game, he's probably not going to play, because why would he play with one more game left? No playoffs on the line. There's no point. And then we're looking at next season to see if he can even play. It's definitely frustrating, I'd say. And not to point out, it's probably frustrating for Christian Watson too, because I guarantee you he's working hard. He's trying to play. He's working hard. And this happens, and especially with him when he got injured, we were playing Kansas City. I'm pretty sure you were right when we were playing Kansas City, and he got hurt. I mean, we were playing the best football that the Packers have played all year. So I guarantee you it was frustrating for him too to get injured in that moment. And now for him to see the decline of how our team has been going with him out, I'm sure he's not happy about it either. So as you said, it is frustrating for him to get injured, but hopefully he gets better and he stays out of the injury report as the year goes on into next year too. I want to see him play a full year. I want to see what he can give us for a full year and see what happens. But if he gets injured again, he continues to be injury prone. It's not good. It's kind of like Christian McCaffrey. We knew how Christian McCaffrey was coming into the NFL, but you can say that Christian McCaffrey's kind of been injury prone himself. I mean, you look, he's been injured probably 3 times. He played a little bit last year. This is the first full year that we've kind of seen Christian McCaffrey be able to do what he can do when he has the football and he's healthy for the most part. I mean, obviously players get banged up and all that stuff. I saw a video. He had a bunch of scratches all over his body and a bunch of bruises. But either way, he's playing a full year so far, and he's helping out my fantasy team. And I love it because I finally have a running back that's not hurt ever. And he has like, in 14 games, he has 20-something rushing yard or touchdowns. It's crazy what happens when a good of caliber player like Christian McCaffrey can do in a full year when they're not injured. I'll be interested to see how Christian Watson is the same way if he's not injured a full year.
I think the big thing is that Christian Watson's injuries are non-contact injuries. So a lot of Christian McCaffrey, he's making contact and that kind of dealio.
A lot of broken balls for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, and Christian Watson's more like, I mean, look at the Chiefs game. He was just coming around the corner. Nobody touched him yet. And all of a sudden he pulls up and he kneels down because he just pulled his hamstring again. I think that's the big thing with Christian Watson is he doesn't have the strength. So you can't throw him anywhere in the middle of the field. Because if he gets rocked by a linebacker, he's going to be out for the rest of the year. So that's one of those things with Christian Watson is we got to see a lot of growth. We got to see a lot of muscle building from Christian Watson and a lot of stability training by Christian Watson for him to develop into that player. That's what I think kind of the difference is between him and Christian McCaffrey for me is that Christian McCaffrey plays one of those positions where he's getting banged up every play. Like you said, there's that video out there of him after a game, and I mean, you look at his body, it's like, holy cats. He just took a beating that game. Christian Watson's just doing it. I mean, tries to reach back for a Jordan Love pass that's behind him, and all of a sudden his hamstring pops again. So it's one of those things where hopefully, like you said, we get to see a full season out of him. I think that's what I'm leaning towards next year. I got to see Christian Watson in at least like 14 games. He's got to at least surpass his first season there of 14 games, and then you can kind of gauge what Christian Watson is going to give you in the future. But with that, I want to move on here. We got to get out of the Packers. We got to talk more about the Packers tomorrow in our preview show. But with that, right now, I want to jump to Austin here with our fact of the day.
On this day in 1891, we're going way back. It was the first game of basketball based on rules created by none other than James Naismith. It was played by 18 students in Springfield, Massachusetts. First ever played game of basketball by the rules of James Naismith.
Was it basketball or was it basketball?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Did I say basketball?
No, I think you might be talking about basketball.
It says basketball. 1891. First game of basketball. Basketball.
I thought you said basketball at first. I was like, 9 players sounds like basketball to me. It's a fantastic movie,
right
Basketball. There. You have to watch the movie, Basketball. Fantastic movie. Fantastic movie. Kind of stupid, but fantastic movie.
Never seen it.
I can tell. Because you did not know anything about basketball. But with that, we got to talk about Thursday night football coming up tonight here. Saints and Rams. We got to go through our picks real quick. Both teams playing for a playoff spot right now. I'm going to take the Rams to win that one at home there. I think Matthew Stafford and the Rams will win it.
Where is it played at again?
SoFi. It's in California.
That might add a little bit of a factor in this one. I like the Saints, though. The Saints put on a show against the Giants. They played pretty well. I think they'll be able to beat the Rams in this one. I got to go with the Saints.
Interesting take right there. And next, we got to jump into our weekly fantasy football picks. We got our fantasy football today. We got a quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex position, and a defense. I think I let you start it last time, so I'm going to start it this time. I'm going to take Josh Allen versus the Chargers defense as my quarterback.
Like I said, I'm not a good fantasy player. Never been, never probably will be. But I do know one thing. Never draft a quarterback first. Give me. He's
going to take Christian McCaffrey with his running.
Yeah, I got to go Christian McCaffrey. I mean, the man gave me 41 points last week.
I knew you were going to go Christian McCaffrey. I was going to let you have him.
Yeah, I'll take him.
Give me at the running back position. I'm going to take James Cook from the Bills up against that Chargers defense.
Funny thing enough, I have both of them on one of my teams, so that's fun. I'm going to take a wide receiver. I'm going to take a wide receiver here, and I'm just looking. Give me a minute here, because I want to find the best one.
We're waiting. We're waiting on you. We're waiting.
Hold on.
Everybody's holding.
Everyone, just wait.
They're probably fast forwarding right now.
I feel like I got to go. It's either between Tyreek or Jalen Waddle. Both of them are studs. They are going up against the Dallas defense, though. I feel like you still got to go Tyreek Hill, though. You still got to go Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill for Austin. I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb.
I'm looking at him right now, and I thought about it.
Defense.
I thought about it. So who else do we have? Quarterback, two running backs, one running back,
two wide receivers. You could pick 2 running backs if you want to put a running back in your flex.
All right. Got you there. I might just go. Oh, I don't know about that, though. Because I'm thinking Brock Purdy, but against the Baltimore defense.
If they're going to win, he's got to have a good game. It means Christian McCaffrey.
That's what I'm saying. He's been playing pretty good these past few games here.
Just take him.
I might just have to take Brock Purdy. He's winning the MVP race. I mean, he's got to continue to be good if he wants to play, so.
He's taking Brock Purdy with that pick there. I am going to take, let's see. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to take him in my flex position up against the Vikings there. Wide receiver for the Lions.
It's a good pick there, partner.
Oh, yeah. So you got a wide receiver left, a tight end, your flex, and a defense.
Oh, a tight end? I think you might not. I think you might be knowing where I'm going with this one. Might have to just.
Travis
I don't know.
Kelce.
I don't know how good he's been, but it's Travis Kelce. You gotta go with Travis Kelce here.
Austin's going Travis Kelce with the tight end position. I am going to stick with my wide receiver room, and I am going to take. Let's see. I like T. Higgins. I'm going to take T. Higgins going up against the Steelers defense.
T. Higgins is good. I'm going to go for my second wide receiver. He didn't have a very good game last game, but he's been pretty good. Ooh. He hasn't been better either. I'm going to go A.J. Brown. He had a quiet week last week, only 10 points, but throughout the season he's been pretty decent. So hopefully he pops out. I mean, they're playing against the Giants, so they made some of our wide receivers look like goats.
This is true. This is very true. I am going to go with give me Sam Laporta from the Lions going up against that Vikings defense. Tight end for the Lions.
Sam Laporta's good. I mean, he had, 3 touchdowns last game? That's pretty good.
I think so, yeah. He went off the charts.
For my flex, usually some people, they'll go with a wide receiver.
Go with the kicker.
But me, this guy's kind of a wide receiver, but also a running back. I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara in the flex. Interesting. I thought you were going to lean towards maybe like Deebo Samuel.
No.
Defenses, let's see. That's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to take the... Oh, that's tough. Give me the Bills defense going up against... Yeah, I like that. Give me the Bills defense up against this Chargers team. Give me the Bills.
I'm looking at the Cleveland defense. They're looking pretty good. They're going up against Houston without C.J. Stroud. I don't know if C.J. Stroud's playing.
I don't think so. I think Case Keenum's getting the start once again.
Give me Cleveland Browns.
We got the Browns defense there going up against...
I would have taken Miami. Miami's doing pretty good. But they're playing against the 49ers. So
CJ is going to play and he's going to light them up. That's all I'm saying.
CJ is playing?
No.
Oh.
I think he's still in the concussion protocol.
Yeah, probably.
But next up, we got to jump into, we've been a Christmas theme this week. So we got to get into our fun Christmas trivia questions with Austin. We're going to ask Austin some questions here. We're going to see if he can give us the answer. So this is our first question. Which popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch?
Milk punch. Is it eggnog?
There it is. Eggnog. Nice.
Come on.
Nice. All right. Now, that a boy.
Thank you.
Next up, we got... What did the other reindeer not let Rudolph do because he had a shiny red nose?
They didn't let him play in any of the reindeer games.
Boom. Join in any reindeer games. Nice.
Come on.
This is going to be a tough one.
All right.
How many ghosts show up in A Christmas Carol? How many ghosts were in A Christmas Carol?
Is it 3, right? 4?
4 is the correct answer.
Got it. Let's go.
There we go.
Well, I was thinking, because there's the past, the present, the future. Then there's another guy, right? Well, there must be.
Yeah, there's another one apparently. Next question. What do people traditionally put on top of a Christmas tree?
This one's a tough one because there's 2 options here. There's 2 options. It could either be an angel or a star. I'm leaning towards the star, though.
Go towards the first one. Lean the other way.
I'm going to lean towards the angel.
There it is. We got Angel right. In Home Alone, this one's going to be a tough one. I would have forgot about this. In Home Alone, where are the McAllisters going on vacation when they leave Kevin behind?
Are they going to California?
Try across the pond.
They're going to Paris.
Boom. Paris.
Hey,
Nice.
hey, I say that's pretty good for my second try, though. Because honestly, I don't remember that either.
That was a pretty solid one right now. All right, we're going to give you two or three more. We'll see what kind of questions come up with here. Which Hollywood star played 6 different roles in the movie The Polar Express?
Oh, that's Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Solid,
Yep.
boy. Here's an interesting one. Going off the first question, which country did eggnog originate from?
I feel like that's a German thing.
Try their neighbor.
Poland.
No.
Oh.
One more guess.
Their neighbor.
It's in Europe.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's their neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to envision a map in my brain, and I'm not very good with the European map. So, north, south, east, or west?
Starts with an E.
Oh gosh. Starts with an E. España? I don't know. Are we speaking
England?
Oh, England. That's not their neighbor.
Close too.
Close to.
I was trying to picture a map in my own head.
I mean, you could pull up a map. Whatever.
This is true. I could have pulled up a map. I didn't have time for that. Okay, so which one of Santa's reindeer has the same name as another holiday mascot?
As another college mascot?
And another holiday mascot.
Oh. You know, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid. Come on.
Bam! Cupid is the answer. Nice work. Okay. What country started the tradition of putting up a Christmas tree?
See, I feel like Germany just started a lot of traditions.
Bam! There it is. Stick with it. Stick with it.
Yeah,
there we go. Okay. In the movie Elf, what was the first rule of the Code of Elves?
Oh, man. I don't even know the Code of Elves. Is it to be happy all the time? I don't know.
Happiness comes from what day of the year?
Christmas.
There you go. So now put it all together.
Christmas is, I don't know.
Bad. I shouldn't have had to put it all together. Treat every day like Christmas.
Oh. Yeah, I want to guess that. That one's a tough one.
Here's an interesting one. What was the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? Which movie for Christmas made the most moolah for their, for Hollywood, basically?
I mean, Elf is up there. I don't think it's Elf.
Top 10, but it's not Elf.
It's not Elf. Okay.
Not Elf.
I don't think it's Polar Express either.
Not Polar Express. I'll give you one more guess.
We
talked about this movie earlier.
Is it Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
No.
Oh.
Home Alone.
Oh.
Home Alone was the highest grossing Christmas movie.
You know, now I feel stupid. Now I just feel stupid.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but you should. Which
well,
fairy tale was the first gingerbread houses inspired by?
Which fairy tale?
Which fairy tale?
Gingerbread houses.
Think about it. She tried to... The witch tried to fatten up the kids.
Oh, what is that one called? I forget what it's called. I know what you're... Oh, Hansel and Gretel.
Bam,
there we go.
Nice work. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get another good one for you. How do you say Merry Christmas in Spanish?
Feliz Navidad.
Nice. That was impressive. That was an impressive round of trivia right there. That was impressive.
I'm all Christmased out, Trage. I'm all Christmas trivia out. Can't do it no more.
Okay, tomorrow you can ask me the trivia questions for how we
end the
week there.
We'll switch it. We'll switch it up.
We'll Switch it up. Yep. All right. But that's about all we got for today. We got through a lot today. We talked about a lot. We got into Christmas. That's what this time of year is all about, Christmas. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. It's been awesome talking to you guys. Until tomorrow when we catch you guys back here, deuces.